The elevator in the Redwood Grand Hotel, Nevada, hesitated before stopping on the 7th floor. Marcus Hale noticed it every time. A slight pause, a faint shudder, as if the building itself was unsure about letting anyone out. Room 707 was at the end of the hallway. The receptionist had avoided eye contact when handing him the keycard. "Elevator's faster than the stairs," she said quickly, "and checkout is at 11. Nothing else. Marcus was a travel vlogger. Old hotels were perfect content. The Redwood Grand had been built in the 1950s, renovated badly, and smelled faintly of carpet cleaner and dust. He loved places like this. The moment he unlocked room 707, the temperature dropped. The room was clean. Too clean. Bed perfectly made, curtains closed, lights already on. It felt like someone had been waiting. Marcus laughed it off and set his camera on the desk. At 1:47 a.m., he woke up to the sound of running water. The bathroom light was on. The shower was running. Marcus sat up slowly. He was alone. He always locked the door. The sound wasn't loud, just steady, patient, like someone who planned to take their time. "Hello?" he called. The water stopped instantly. Marcus walked to the bathroom and pulled the curtain aside. Empty. No steam. No wet floor. No damp towel. He returned to bed, uneasy, heart racing. At 2:13 a.m. there was a knock. 3 slow taps on the door. Marcus checked the time on his phone. No hotel staff knocked at that hour. He approached the door quietly and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, but just as he stepped back, something blocked the peephole from the outside. Skin. An eye pressed against it. Wide. Bloodshot. Unblinking. Marcus staggered back. A woman's voice whispered through the door, calm and polite. "Housekeeping." His mouth went dry. "I didn't call anyone," Marcus said. Silence. Then the voice changed. Deeper, slower. "You're in my room." The lights flickered. The temperature dropped further. Marcus grabbed his phone and backed toward the window. "I'm calling the front desk," he said. His phone screen lit up. No service. The knocking returned. Louder now. Desperate, angry. "Open the door," the voice demanded. "They locked me in here. You need to let me out." Marcus shook his head. "Go away." A pause. Then softly, "I never checked out." The door handle turned. The keycard slot beeped. Green light. The door opened by itself. The hallway beyond was no longer the hotel hallway. It was dark, narrow, the walls stained, the carpet soaked black like old water damage. A flickering exit sign hung crooked at the end, and standing in the doorway was a woman in a hotel uniform, soaked, hair clinging to her face, neck bent slightly to one side like it had never healed correctly. Her feet didn't touch the floor. "You took my room," she said, "so now you take my night." Marcus ran past her. The hallway stretched endlessly. Doors numbered 707 over and over again. No elevator, no stairs, just the sound of water dripping behind him. A hand grabbed his ankle. Ice cold. He screamed. The next morning, hotel staff found room 707 unlocked, the bed untouched, the camera smashed on the floor, the bathroom shower running, no sign of Marcus. When police reviewed security footage, they found something worse. At 2:14 a.m., Marcus was seen exiting the elevator on the 7th floor. Behind him, a second figure stepped out, wearing a housekeeping uniform. Room 707 was sealed again. The receptionist still avoids eye contact, and if anyone asks why the elevator pauses on the 7th floor, she answers quietly, "Because someone is still trying to check out." Room 617. The hotel didn't appear on Google Maps. Ethan noticed that immediately. He had been driving for nearly 8 hours through rural Nevada, phone battery dying, eyes burning from exhaustion. When the Red Hollow Hotel appeared out of the desert darkness, its neon sign flickering like a dying pulse, it felt less like luck and more like something waiting. The lobby smelled of dust and old carpet. A single lamp buzzed behind the front desk, where an elderly man sat perfectly still, as if he'd been placed there. "I need a room," Ethan said. The man slowly lifted his eyes. They were cloudy, unfocused. "One night only," the man said. "Checkout is before sunrise." "That's fine." The old man slid a key across the counter. 617. Ethan hesitated. "Any Wi-Fi?" The man smiled thinly. "You won't need it tonight." The hallway to the 6th floor felt longer than it should have been. The carpet swallowed sound. The lights overhead flickered one by one as Ethan walked, as if reacting to his presence. Room 617 was at the very end. Inside, the room looked untouched by time. Outdated furniture, heavy curtains, a faint smell of metal beneath the usual hotel scent. The mirror above the dresser was slightly cracked, splitting reflections in uncomfortable ways. Ethan tossed his bag on the bed and checked the clock. 8:47 p.m. He lay down, exhaustion pulling him under almost instantly. A sound woke him, scraping, slow, careful, like fingernails being dragged across wood. Ethan opened his eyes. The clock read 12:13 a.m. The scraping was coming from the other side of the wall, not the hallway wall, but the one behind the bed. He sat up, heart racing, and the sound stopped immediately. Silence. Then a whisper. "Wrong room." Ethan stood up. "Hello?" No answer. He laughed nervously, convincing himself it was just another guest. He lay back down, pulling the blanket tight. At 12:30 a.m. the bed dipped, not like someone sitting, like something pressing down from above. Ethan shot upright. No one was there, but the mirror across the room showed something different. For just a second, his reflection wasn't alone. Someone was standing behind him in the mirror. Tall, thin, face blurred like it hadn't finished forming. Ethan spun around. Nothing. When he looked back at the mirror, the reflection was normal again. Except for one thing. The reflection's mouth moved. It whispered, "Don't sleep again." Panicking now, Ethan grabbed his phone. No signal. The room phone rang. He stared at it, pulse hammering. Slowly, he picked it up. "Front desk," the old man's voice said calmly. "You woke it up." "What the hell is in this room?" Ethan shouted. A pause. Then, "Room 617 isn't meant for guests. It's meant for replacements." The line went dead. The lights flickered violently. The bathroom door creaked open by itself. From inside came the sound of breathing, shallow, uneven, too close. Ethan backed toward the door, fumbling with the handle. It wouldn't open. The mirror cracked further, the split widening until his reflection stepped out of it. Same face, same body, but its eyes were wrong, hollow, endless. "You stayed past midnight," it said in Ethan's voice. "That's when checkout changes." The thing lunged. Morning sunlight flooded the lobby. A young woman dragged her suitcase inside, yawning. "I need a room for the night," she said. The old man behind the desk nodded and slid a key toward her. 617. As she turned toward the elevator, she didn't notice the man standing silently in the corner of the lobby, pale, hollow-eyed, wearing yesterday's clothes, watching, waiting. Because the Red Hollow Hotel never runs out of rooms, and room 617 is always occupied. Room 616. The motel brochure called it quiet, clean, and affordable. Room 616 was the only one available. Ethan didn't question it. He'd been driving for 12 hours straight across Arizona, eyes burning, hands shaking on the wheel. The Desert Crown Motel sat alone beside the highway, its neon sign buzzing like an insect that refused to die. The clerk barely looked at him while handing over the key. "No refunds after midnight," the man muttered. "And don't change rooms." That was a strange thing to say, but Ethan was too tired to care. Room 616 smelled faintly of bleach and something older underneath. The carpet was damp near the bed, and the mirror across from it was cracked straight down the middle, splitting his reflection into two uneven halves. At 1:16 a.m., someone knocked. Ethan groaned and sat up. "Yeah?" No answer. He checked the door viewer. Empty hallway, no footsteps, no sound. He locked the door again and lay back down. At 2:16 a.m., the phone rang, the motel phone. Ethan stared at it, heart racing, before picking up. A woman whispered, "Please, don't let him in." The line went dead. Ethan tried calling the front desk. No dial tone. At 3:16 a.m., he heard movement in the bathroom. Slow, wet, dragging. The shower curtain shifted slightly, as if something behind it had leaned forward. "Hello?" Ethan whispered. A voice answered from behind the curtain. Deep, calm, male. He always answers. The curtain snapped open. Nothing was there. But the mirror now showed someone standing behind Ethan, tall, thin, smiling too wide. Ethan spun around. The room was empty. When he turned back, the mirror reflection didn't follow immediately. It lagged, just a second behind. The reflection raised its hand. Ethan did not. He stumbled back, breathing hard. At 4:16 a.m., the knocking returned, this time from inside the room, from the closet door. "Open it," the voice said softly. "You opened the door when you checked in." The closet handle began to turn on its own. Ethan grabbed his keys and ran for the exit. The door wouldn't open. The hallway outside was suddenly visible through the cracks. But it wasn't the motel hallway anymore. It was a long, red-lit corridor lined with doors, all marked 616. The mirror shattered. Hands grabbed him from behind, cold, shaking, desperate. The woman's voice screamed in his ear, "Don't stay past checkout." The lights went out. The next morning, the clerk checked the register. Room 616 was still vacant. Always had been. But the mirror inside was cracked again. And at 1:16 a.m., a new guest would knock from the inside, waiting for someone too tired to ask questions. Room 407. The hotel brochure said recently renovated. Daniel didn't believe it the moment he stepped into room 407. The air smelled old, not dust, something colder, something trapped. It was 11:48 p.m. when he locked the door behind him. A business trip, one night only. Sleep and leave. At 12 a.m. the phone rang. Daniel stared at it. He hadn't ordered a wake-up call. He picked it up. Silence. Then a woman's voice, low and calm. "Do not open the bathroom door." Daniel frowned. "Who is this?" The line went dead. He laughed nervously and set the phone down. Probably a prank. Old hotel, old wiring. At 12:07 a.m., there was a soft knock from inside the bathroom. Daniel's smile faded. The bathroom door handle began to turn slowly, not forcing, testing. "Hello?" Daniel whispered. No answer. He backed away as the handle stopped, then twisted back into place. At 12:15 a.m., the phone rang again. "You heard it, didn't you?" the woman asked. "Yes," Daniel said. "What is in there?" A pause. "It stays in the mirrors," she replied, "unless you let it out." Daniel's pulse thundered. "You're not funny." "I died in this room," she said calmly, "because I opened the door." The call ended. Daniel grabbed his jacket and rushed to the door, but it wouldn't open. The handle wouldn't move. Behind him, the bathroom light turned on by itself. The mirror fogged instantly. Words appeared slowly, written from the inside of the glass. "Let me sleep in your shadow." Daniel screamed and turned away. At 12:30 a.m., the knocking returned, louder now, faster, angry. Cracks spread across the mirror. A dark shape pressed from the other side, stretching the glass outward like skin. Daniel collapsed against the wall, shaking. The phone rang one last time. Her voice was weak now, fading. "It needs someone awake, so it can rest." The bathroom door burst open. The lights went out. At 6 a.m., housekeeping unlocked room 407 after a guest failed to check out. The room was empty, the bed untouched, the bathroom mirror perfectly clean, except for one thing: a fresh reservation card taped to the glass. Room 407, available. And from inside the mirror, something finally slept. Next story. Room 417. The hotel on Interstate 90, Nevada, didn't have a name anymore. The sign was broken, half-lit, buzzing like an insect trapped in glass. Daniel Mercer checked in at 11:48 p.m. after driving for 9 straight hours. He didn't care where he slept. He just needed a bed. The front desk clerk never smiled. "You're in room 417, she said, sliding the keycard forward. Her fingers shook. "Checkout is at 11, don't miss it." Daniel nodded and took the elevator. It creaked its way up, stopping briefly on the 4th floor, even though no one pressed the button. The hallway smelled damp, like old carpet and metal. Room 417 was at the very end. Inside, everything looked normal. Too normal. Clean bed, TV, bathroom light already on. Daniel dropped his bag and lay down. At 12:17 a.m., someone knocked on the door. 3 slow knocks. Daniel sat up. "Yeah?" No answer. He opened the door. The hallway was empty. He went back to bed. At 1:03 a.m., the phone rang. He frowned. "Hello?" A woman's voice whispered. "He's in your room." Daniel laughed nervously. "Wrong number." "You didn't lock the bathroom," the voice said. The line went dead. Daniel's eyes snapped to the bathroom door. It was open. He shut it and locked it, then pushed a chair against the door for good measure. At 2:40 a.m., the TV turned on by itself. Static filled the screen. Then a video feed appeared, black and white, grainy. It was the hallway, outside room 417. Daniel stood up slowly. On the screen, the camera angle shifted. It was now inside the room, behind him. Daniel spun around. Nothing. The TV volume increased. A man appeared on the screen, tall, thin, standing inches behind where Daniel had been moments earlier. His face was blurred, like it didn't want to be remembered. The man leaned toward the camera. "He never checks out," a voice said from the TV. The bathroom door slammed. The chair scraped across the floor. Daniel ran for the exit, but the door wouldn't open. The handle twisted endlessly. The lights flickered. The TV showed Daniel now, pounding on the door, screaming. Except the real Daniel wasn't screaming. He couldn't make a sound. The screen zoomed in on the man's face. Checkout time flashed on the TV. 11:10 a.m. Daniel felt hands grab his shoulders, cold, strong. The last thing he heard was the front desk clerk's voice, calm and tired. Another late checkout. At 11:02 a.m. the next morning, housekeeping opened room 417. The room was empty. Bed untouched, bathroom light on, TV playing static. On the desk sat a freshly printed keycard. Room 417. Occupied. That night, a tired traveler checked in. The elevator stopped briefly on the 4th floor. Even though no one pressed the button,